Hey, Nicole, what's happening?
Hey Eric, I'm good. I'm feeling good.
Are
How are
you
you?
feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling much better. Just finally over all the yuckies.
All healed up?
Well, as best I can.
So, I don't know if the listeners realize this, but we are recording like way after sundown. This is
I know.
is this our latest? Is this the
It,
latest we've ever
it
done this?
might be. I kind of like it. It's like Real Agents After Dark.
Right?
I don't know, but you look good. You look like you are After Dark with your background. I need to figure out my background
I'm
situation.
shadowy. I'm in the dark. I've got a floating head today. That's it. I'm just gonna do this the whole pod, just like
It's like
this.
your mysterious aura you've got going on.
Thank you.
It means that
I'm that's what I'm going for. Mysterious aura. Yeah.
you have more important things to say than me. That's what that means.
And I'm gonna end everything with this. Every
and
time I say something important, I'm gonna go,
and don't forget your theme music.
oh yeah. Da-dum.
All
You're so silly. All right. Well, then let's just get right in it. Right? You ready for
right.
this?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Welcome to the Real Agents Podcast, your weekly podcast where yeah, I'm gonna start that over.
Okay, go ahead.
That was terrible. All right, one more time. Take two.
Take two.
Welcome to the Real Agents Podcast, a weekly podcast where our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to talk about everything in real estate and life and what the heck is
Everything
going
in
on with me
between.
today? You know what? I'm going to tell you guys a story before we say, keep all this in because we went to dinner. So we were supposed to do this a lot earlier, weren't we, Nicole?
We were. I messed
But
it up.
I'm
Sorry.
tossing you under the bus. It was all your fault. You were too busy. And now it's like 8 o'clock at night or something like that. And I go to bed in like 5 minutes.
Mm.
Um, we went to dinner, this local place in Stafford called the Juicy Bucket.
Oh, is it
That is
chicken?
really what it's called, the Juicy Bucket. Which first off made me feel weird because if I got sick and had to go to the doctor and the doctor said, "What happened? What did you do?" I would tell him I went to a place called the Juicy Bucket, and the doctor would be like, "Well, go figure.
Duh.
Of course you're sick."
Duh.
But that said, the place was great. It was fantastic. I hope you're listening, Juicy Bucket, because this place awesome. Although they give you a ton of food, so I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy right now. My sodium levels are up to here. My lips are like dry. I can't even. Blah, blah. All right.
Yeah. Shake it up. Shake it up.
All right. Take seven.
Welcome. I don't have it in front of me.
All
Otherwise,
right, I'll do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it
okay,
right.
do it.
All right.
Eli's gonna kill it. Okay.
Welcome to the Real Agents Podcast, a weekly podcast where our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to discuss life and real estate and everything in between. So if you like your advice and insights shaken and not stirred, well, then this is the podcast for you.
I'm Nicole Dash,
And I'm Eric Carrington, and we are the
the
Real
real
Agents.
agents. We did it.
Perfect. That was perfect.
We just need a little editing and it would be like so seamless. No editing. He never edits us. It's like raw footage every time. All of our
Who wrote this crap? This is trash, and that's why it's so hard to say.
You're reading your own stuff, guy.
That's why it's trash. Absolutely. All right. Well, before we get started, please, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, give us a like, ring that bell. 5 stars, please. If you give us 5 stars, I promise you I will get better at the intro. Promise. And I guess we are getting
Just get rid of it.
okay, just no intro anymore.
No.
We're doing okay though, I guess, on Facebook and YouTube's and all those other things.
All the
Right?
places, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can hear us, we're there. And apparently some people are listening to us and watching us, which is crazy.
I think it's my mom and dad. That's
I
it.
mean, but like a few hundred times, that's pretty good. I'll
She's
take it.
persistent.
You know,
She's
like the
absolutely
people
persistent.
who are like we just hit our 1,000,000th subscriber. We're like, 9 people listen to us. Woohoo!
I was watching something today, one of those shorts, and a guy was like, if I get a McLaren, I'm going to be able to up my views by like 10,000. Do you think that's a wise investment? And I was thinking, boy, what would I have to get? If I get a new Bic pen, I think I'll up my views by 2 people. No, I don't know how people make money at this. We got to figure that out. How do we monetize it?
It's not for the money. It's for the love of the game. Whatever that means. The love of the podcast.
Well, I think the trick is to just talk about like the Juicy Bucket and all the other places and try to get freebies.
I'll take a free Juicy Bucket. I don't need money. Give me a Juicy Bucket, please. I don't even know what it is. Is it chicken?
You just want a Juicy Bucket, Nicole? That's it? Just a Juicy Bucket and you're good. All right, I'm gonna make a note. I know what to get you for Christmas.
Okay.
No, the Juicy Bucket is seafood, and it's like a seafood boil.
Nice.
So
really
yeah,
good.
Look,
I like that.
They built the place right before COVID hit, and then they never opened. Like we would see this sign for the Juicy Bucket, we'd go by there, and look inside, and it was like a disaster inside. So finally, when it opened, we were like, whoa, they actually finished this place? It can't be good. And we'd go by there, and there'd be no cars in the parking lot. And then all of a sudden it started, they got some lights and everything and flashing. And I went on Yelp, and they actually have good reviews. So tonight, Felicia was like, oh, you're not doing the podcast? Let's go to Juicy Bucket. So we went. And it took us longer to get our food and pay our bill than it took us to eat, which wasn't great. But I got a half pound of sausage, a half pound of shrimp, and a half pound of clams. That's a lot of food.
That's right? A lot of food, but that sounds yummy.
But it came out immediately. I ordered it. By the time we got to order, a minute later, they brought out this big juicy bucket, cut it open, and the corn and potatoes and all the food spilled out, and I just shoveled it in my mouth like the pig that I am. It was awesome.
It's really good. Sounds amazing. So, Eric, what's been going on? We're about done with January now. Other than shoveling stuff in our mouths.
I'm just thinking the Juicy Bucket's going to see this and want to make me their sponsor. I'm going to be their mascot.
You'll have a little T-shirt with a little emblem right here.
All right, enough about the Juicy Bucket. Yes, January is over. Was it a good month for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, it went so fast. First of all, I mean, it was out of the gate crazy in terms of real estate. I mean, all of a sudden these buyers came awake, and I had a few listings, all which had so much traffic and a lot of interest. And so we were getting multiple offers on some of our listings, which we hadn't seen in months. Like before the holidays, I'd say November, December, we were like, well, maybe it'll get 1 offer in 3 weeks. And then some of our listings were getting 8 offers in 1 weekend. Like that's
didn't one of them get like double digits?
Yes,
one of them got like 14.
14, and over asking with the removal of contingencies. I mean, it felt like spring has sprung, right? Like the real estate market in the spring started already in January, which is amazing for us.
That I noticed that too from the buyer's side. The disappointing part is that there wasn't a ton of inventory. There wasn't a ton of new inventory out there. So you're competing on anything nice. And it's a little frustrating.
Yeah. It is.
But yeah, it's been, if January is a precursor to what 2023 is going to be like, I think it's going to be just like it was last year. I
hope so. I mean, I'm meeting with people right now, and as a listing agent, we're just trying to convince them to go on the market sooner than later, because this is, I always get the question, it's like, what's the best time to sell? And in a lot of people's minds, it's when the azaleas are blooming, right? That later spring, true spring. And I'm always having the same conversation. It's like, no, if you want as many eyes as possible on your home and potentially push the price, beat out all the other sellers. Get your house on the market sooner than later. And that means January, February, early March. And that's kind of like news for some people because they're like, really? I thought June was the best month. And I'm like, no, don't wait till June. That's when it slowed down last year. So it's just a lot of educating of people and trying to give them the resources they need so they actually can get on the market sooner than later. And that's where all of our contacts come into play.
So you really don't like sellers. Are they expecting it to be the same as it was last year? I mean, are they coming into it thinking that, that all the stories they're hearing about 2021, 2022 are going to carry over? Or are they surprised when you tell them that it's still an aggressive market?
I think a lot of them are surprised or they're starting to hear inklings, like the word is starting to get around, right? Like, oh, I'm hearing the market's good right now, but like really hesitant when they say it. Because if you watch the news and you've been watching the news, it sounds very scary. It sounds like a lot of doom and gloom. And I'm like, no, actually, hyper locally, it's really good right now. It's a great real estate market right now. You got to jump in. And, you always have those people who, for whatever reason, miss it every year.
Don't buy into it. You can't convince them. You can't convince everybody.
No, and by the time they get to it, it's done. And I'm like, oh, you missed the window.
You missed the boat, buddy.
Yeah.
From the buyer side, it's frustrating. I mean, we had a little bit of a buyer's market there for about 7.5 minutes, and it's gone.
I know.
It's gone. I mean, I wrote so many offers this month that we were surprised. I mean, let's be frank, we were surprised at how aggressive people were with their offers. Now, I'm assuming a lot of that is folks who did not win, last year and wrote crazy offers. They just carried over into this year, and they're still writing crazy offers. They train themselves as to what they need to do in order to win. But the new buyers, the first time on the market kind of folks, they're surprised by what's going on because they're hearing all the things they're expecting that because of the interest rates that people went away, people aren't out there buying. And no.
Yeah.
People are still out there. They're still aggressive.
Their window was before the holidays, but yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because that drop in interest rates was just enough to stir it up again. And it's amazing how, like, who would have thought people would be celebrating like 6.5, right? 6%. Whoa, I can get right at 6. And it's like a year ago, people would be crying about 6. So it's like what you get used to. That's your reality.
Yeah, you're right. It's absolutely your reality because, people are talking about 5.5 being fantastic. Oh my God, I got 5.5. That's great. And yeah, it is because the alternative a month ago was 6.5, 7.
7.5, even some people. I heard.
Yeah. And what surprised me about buyers, none of my buyers, their buying power wasn't affected that much. I mean, I had a couple of folks that went away because of the rates, but most of the folks, when the rates moved up, they still maintain their same buying power. We're still looking at the same prices.
That's interesting. That's really, because there's a huge difference between a 4% and a 6%, right? I mean, it's a vast difference in your monthly payment. So you would think if you were at one time approved and you had your cap at the 4%, naturally your cap would go down at 6%. But I mean, there's a lot of money out there.
Well, that's what I think is going on. I think with a few of them, and there's a few of my buyers who are in that situation when the rates went crazy, they absolutely thought that things were going to change for them. So they took a break. But I think over that time, they continued to save. The debt to income ratio continued to get to be less. They created more assets, and they're right back where they were before. The tough part is during that time where we had this little bit of a buyer's market, as much of a buyer's market as we ever see here, we were able to be a little bit creative with our offers and maybe get a little bit of subsidy by people and maybe, not have to go way over on pricing and not have to have a 5% or a 3% earnest money deposit, that kind of thing. but I think we're back at it. The last few offers I've written have been just as crazy as they were last March. I mean, it's
Wow.
last March or May.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting used to doing home inspections again. So,
So was
right.
I. They were fun. I was like digging them. I was
Well, you were
negotiating them.
digging them. I was like, ugh, because on my side, I'm like, they're doing a home inspection.
Love a good home inspection. I
I know
love it. I love
you
digging
do.
in there,
I
getting my
know.
hands dirty.
Great.
Looking at that dishwasher. Oh my God, look at that.
When you have the agent that's like, we're also bringing in the chimney inspector and then this inspector and that, and I'm like, they know what they're doing. Right, because I mean, it's a whole range of
Get them
buyer
all
agents
lined
out
up.
there.
I'll tell you one quick story. I have some folks that we were looking at in Fairfax for a house, and our price point is, we didn't want to be over $1 million, but a few of the homes we saw that we liked sold right away. Kind of, we missed the boat on a couple of them. We wrote on two, and this was before they realized what they needed to do in order to win. So we didn't win. And then they branched out and they were looking at a place in Arlington. And they said, hey, we'll go check it out on Sunday at the open house. And I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't wait. Let's just go and check it out right away. And they're like, no, we don't want to go on Saturday. We'll go Sunday. So Sunday morning, I go by myself to go look at the place. And I get there and there's cars lined up to look at it. And the open house is in 2 hours. So I have another appointment that I have to run to and then come back. I left to go to my appointment. While I left to go to the appointment, the house ratified. Yeah. And I guess one other person on our team wrote on it. Same house. And it was 1.2 to start, right? And I'll just say this. It wasn't the right house for my folks. I knew it was too small, overpriced, and just wouldn't work for their family. But they needed to see it, and I was willing to show it. Anyway, the house starts at 1.2. I believe it finished after 15 offers at 1.5 and a half, something like that. It got 14 offers and went $250,000 over the asking price.
That's crazy. That is like last spring.
Yeah. And the only reason I bring it up with the home inspection, because while I was there, somebody was showing with a home inspector, and it looked like they had a whole crew. It looked like it was 6 people going into this house for a showing. It was hilarious.
Oh, wow.
And then we're back to that again. We're back to pre-inspections.
The pre-inspections, if you're allowed to do them.
Yeah, this house did allow the pre-inspection.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, it's nuts. And I'm looking forward to it being just as nuts in February.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too. I would love that. But I mean, inventory is down in general. I mean, I'd say even though the houses we're putting on the market, if they look good, and that's the key, they have to look good. Yes. Because buyers are picky. Like, they're still, even though there's plenty of buyers and competition, only on the really nice houses. The other houses still are kind of sitting a little bit. Not a ton of time, but not as quick as the other ones.
Yeah.
So they still have to look good, but our numbers of listings are down. So we're still feeling that impact of the slowdown. And now we're in the mode of trying to convince people to be like, it's a good time, come to us, enter the market.
Please do that, because I think, it's just math. The fact that the inventory is so low is keeping those prices outrageous in some regard. There was a house that didn't sell 2 weeks ago in West Springfield, and I showed it and we were getting ready to write on it. I call, and this is like I think it was day 9 on the market. And I called just to, get a heat check on it. Where are you guys at? We really like it. We're considering writing an offer. And they picked up 3 offers on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's if it doesn't last that first week, don't worry, seller, because week 2, it looks like you're still going to be, in a good place. And 3 offers, and I think it's sold for over.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, oh, it's been on the market 2 weekends, I mean, maybe now I can get a discount. That's not true. That's not true right now. It's still, I had a house in the market 2 weekends. the same amount of people go through the second weekend as the first weekend. And then, now we're getting an offer on it. So that's very interesting to me, because usually there is a big drop off. And I don't know if it's word is out and people are entering every week in January and February, new people are coming out to buy.
I'm not solely, sure. I think, and we were at the end of the month, so maybe inventory, you know how inventory always picks up the first week of the month, right? I mean, typically. Right. And maybe that's what a part of that was, because not a lot of new hotness came on last weekend. So I think that was a part of it. And the fact that this one was kind of borderline and was still available. The runoff of folks that didn't have anything else to look at. They took a second look at this one and decided it was right.
Yeah.
But that's the negative. The positive is, though, that, I think it's going to be just as awesome as it's been the last 2 years. You just got to work harder, I'm up for it. I'm sure you are too.
I'm up for it for sure.
When we're done with this podcast, I got a listing for you. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, oh, I got a good one for you.
There's got to be some benefit doing this.
Good one, right? Take care of each other.
That's right.
All right. So let's move on. That was awesome. I love hearing your insights on what's going on. But talking about those multiple offers, when you have that house and you get 9 offers, how do you handle that? How do you navigate that?
So we have, it's difficult because, first of all, it's tracking all the different offers, right? We have a spreadsheet that we put it all on, our multiple offer spreadsheet, very organized, trying to we itemize each thing so we can look at it across the board, apples to apples, right? It's like, oh, well, here's the earnest money for, 1 through 9. Here's this, if it has an escalation, what is it escalated to? The whole thing, right? So there's that part of it. The second part of it,
real quick though, how detailed do you get with that? Do you say, well, this one has a 5-day home inspection, this one has a 3-day home, and then your spreadsheet has all of that broken down to that detail?
To that detail. Awesome. I'll show it to you sometime.
Please.
It's really handy because, and we have it in order of the contract too. So it's a pain filling it out. I have to be honest. You're going through each line and you're like, oh, warranty, yes. How much? Who's buying it? Seller, who's that. It's that detail. Okay. So you go and
you put them on the spreadsheet in order that they come in.
Yes,
order that they're received.
Yeah, I do it order of received, and so offer 1, 2, 3, 4. We always have to also forward the contracts to our clients.
Yes.
And I forward it with the same 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I'll label it offer 1, offer 2, offer 3.
Okay.
And I do that, and I will go through and I kind of will highlight where I think are the best components of each offer, right? Smart. And then I share it with my client, and then we talk about it all and we narrow it down. So that's sort of how we handle the multiple offer situation. And we're really truly looking at the offers and the financing. If people send a letter, it's very controversial, right? Sometimes you get the letter.
Talk about that.
Okay. So, the whole I love this house so much. And there's a picture of them with their kids and their dog. Yeah. I actually do not share that letter with my clients until we've narrowed it down based on the facts. I know, I'm sorry, Eric, but I actually think it's for fair housing and I get it. I really want them to make their decision based on who's the most qualified and what's the best offer, right? So to me, those are the most important things. Who's their lender? Is it a local lender? Have I talked to that lender? Did the lender proactively call me? And I'll note that. If a lender calls me and I don't have to take my time to call them, I will note that on that spreadsheet. I will tell you. That's a big check in my book. And then we will narrow it down. And then sometimes I'll go back to the top 2 or 3 and talk to those agents. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes when you have 14 offers, we're treated like it's their best and final because it's so many to navigate, Yeah,
I could imagine that would be absolutely tedious if you're marketing to all 14 of those offers. And it makes sense if you focus on the ones that, that are the real viable options and throw the ones away that are just not going to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Now, what level do you think I'm going to put you on the spot, I guess. You're special.
Mhm.
I'll just say it. I mean, do you think the bulk of listing agents are operating at your level, or are they more down here? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'll say, to take you off the spot, like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure as a buyer's agent, I'm up here, and I gotta say, I think most, and
Yeah.
I'll just say the way I feel.
Oh,
I don't think
sure.
anybody's outworking me in this.
No.
So,
Well,
do you think you're up here, or is it kind of SOP what you're doing?
yeah, no, I think what we do as a team, as the listing agents, myself included, is far superior to what other listing agents are doing in the way they're managing it. I think it just has to do with our expertise and the volume that we have, and the fact that we, even if individually our volume is average, when you combine us together, we're learning from each other. We all, that spreadsheet is shared by all of us. We created it. Jamie and I created it together, and then we all use it, right? So,
it's a best practice that works. It's a best practice that works, and that it makes this more efficient, and it services the clients better. It's always awesome when I deal with someone on our team in the process, because you guys just do it better. I'm dealing with listing agents right now, and the lack of communication is frustrating. I mean, it's absolutely frustrating when you do everything in your power to make it easy for them, and a little bit of how I do it is I make sure that everything is spelled out on my cover sheet, that you don't have to look any further than page 1 to know everything that's in my contract and all the details.
And I love that.
And I'm putting it all in
amazing.
one package. It's not in 14 different attachments. And I guess I expect everyone to work the same way, I guess, and that's wrong. I shouldn't expect that. But when you work that hard and then everything comes to a dead stop, it's, oh my goodness. It's like you're going, and then you submit your offer and boom, nothing.
Yeah.
Silence.
And I'll tell you, the communication part is really difficult when you have, just imagine you have 14 offers.
Oh yeah.
And every agent is continually, you set a deadline, right? You receive the offers. You start getting texts, emails, calls from maybe not all 14, but at least 9 out of the 14 are doing this, right? And so you're getting my voicemail gets full like really easily. And then I'm continually like, a lot of times I have to preemptively be like, okay, the deadline is 12. We're not talking until 5 p.m., but really we're talking.
Yeah, but at least
I need the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you have to set the expectation. And then I do try, if I've narrowed it down to two, and you were like number 14, you're like, there's no way you're winning, and you're calling me, I may like lessen the pain and
yeah, you got no shot, buddy.
Sorry,
move on to the next one.
Yeah, but if you're in the top 5, I'm probably not calling you, and you're getting frustrated, but it's because we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back to you if you're top 2 or 3.
You want to know what's going on in the buyer agent's head?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So first off, yeah, when you've got a hot house, that communication is going to be, not great. And any good buyer agent is calling before they write the offer to find out how many offers are in hand and, just what we should do. But when you call and you find out that there's no offers in hand, you're the only offer. And then you look up that agent, which buyer agent, if you're not looking up the listing agent, you're doing something wrong. And then you find out that they don't have any other active listings and you're still getting the cold shoulder. It's like, what's going on here? And in your mind as the buyer agent, all you're thinking is they're just marketing your offer to all those other people that came through the house. They're on the phone right now and they're like, hey, I got an offer. It's not that great. Because I've gotten that call and I appreciate that call. And please keep sending it. Yeah. But it's tough. And especially the way it's been over the last couple of years. Buyer agents, we get it. We get that you guys are busy. We get that when we call and your voicemail's full, it's because everybody else has called as well.
Right.
but those are the ones that you let slide. It's the ones where you're the only offer. The house has been on the market for 30 days.
Right. And they're
Or
taking
for
like 3 days to get back to you. I know. That's awful. I try never to be that agent, but I'll be honest with you, there are some situations where your clients are the ones holding you back, right?
Of course there are, Nicole.
It's well, it's true. Like we'll be on the market a week and a half. We'll get one offer. It's not a perfect offer. It's a little under. They're like, "Do you think we can wait through the next weekend?"
Oh.
And it's like, because I think we could get a better offer if we just wait through the next weekend. Or, hey, we have a showing tomorrow. Can we wait through the showing? So then it's my job to kind of guide them in the best way I can, while also being respectful of the other agent. But ultimately, my client is who I'm, beholden to.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And you want them to
it's tough.
trust you. You want them to think that they can ask these things of you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer of the phrase, there's no stupid questions, only stupid people who ask questions. So if your client has a question about waiting, they should ask.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you should give them a solid answer and say, look, we can wait, but if Eric has submitted an offer, we should take that one. I believe that 1000%. Anyway, all right. Just accept my offers. That's the long and short of that one.
Okay.
So I was thinking about this today too, and I wanted to get your insight on it. I was showing in Springfield, and Springfield's as hot as ever. I was showing in Manassas, and Manassas is kind of picking up. I think that's mainly because of the new school that's out there, or fairly new school, Colgan. I think they're in their 4th year now. But if you had to pick, if you had your eye on the pulse of what's going on, I guess you would have your finger on the pulse, not your eye. But
my
anyway,
eye on the ball.
There it is. Your eye on the ball of what's going on.
Eye on the ball of the finger of the pulse, right?
Yes, the pulse of the finger of your eye. What do you think is going to be the hot area this year, if there's going to be one that stands out? I mean, it's always Arlington. It's always, well, it's kind of been Springfield for the last 5 years. And I'll just tell you, I think, and it's not just because I live here, I think Stafford County is going to be really busy over the next couple of years. I think it's going to go crazy. I think home prices have started to creep up. There's a bunch of new construction projects that are going on. And I think folks feel like they can get more bang for their buck if they come further down south. Yeah. And the combination of easy pass lanes and proximity to Quantico and some other bases, and good schools, Stafford, I think, is going to be one of the faster growing communities in our area. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I'm having a lot of people who are in that Haymarket, Gainesville, but they're starting to push beyond there. And when you push beyond there, that's when you are getting into Stafford. When you start going a little further south, there's a lot of new communities being built out there. And I agree with you. I think, especially if your kids are grown and you don't have to worry about schools, and you still are commuting, you still need to commute once in a while. You're working from home mostly, but you commute once in a while. Why not? Right? That's you get so much more for your money. I totally see
it's far though. Oh my God, it's so far.
Yeah. Well,
so far.
I know.
Thank God I have a car that drives itself now. I can go to sleep.
You can just sleep. I can sit back.
Pick me up when we get home. No. No, it's the worst part about living out here, and it's not really the traffic, it's the cost to avoid the traffic.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
The Easy Pass or whatever it is.
Yeah. Worth every penny. Worth every. Yeah. I think I'm going to get a couple of blow up dolls and put them in my car so I can drive in that lane for free. It's going to be an awkward conversation with the wife when the blow up doll comes in the mail. Right. But I think she'll get it once I show her the savings for the Easy Pass.
Does a car seat count? Like if you have a baby, does that count?
You're gonna let me borrow Savannah? Can I drive around with it?
You have to pitch it to Felicia. Be like, I heard if you get a baby, we save lots of money.
All we need is a baby, honey.
All we need is a baby.
No, man. It's so crazy. No, I'm excited about this year. I'm excited about, all the changes and how we're going to adapt. I'm so worried about inventory. And if inventory doesn't pick up, I think it's just going to get, I don't want to say worse. Worse isn't the
Yeah.
right word. It's going to be more difficult.
Yeah. Well, on both sides too.
Yeah.
That stands, because what's going to happen is it's so compressed, right? It's like every agent is fighting for the same
Yes.
home, both on the listing and on the buying side. So we're trying to I'll fight for the 10 people who are going to list, and then you've got like 40 people per house trying to get it, right? And so it causes more stress, more tension, and it weeds out the agents that don't know what they're doing, honestly.
Well, and I think sometimes though it could dilute the product too, the product that we offer. Like, because I think for a lot of agents, their first move is a commission reduction,
Right.
and that's not the right answer.
No.
I mean, anything that's a bargain, you have to look at the quality of what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I know that every agent is willing to negotiate something in the right circumstance when it's necessary. But when agents are leading with it, like the reason to use me is because of this. I think that dilutes what we do, and it sometimes it elevates folks that aren't very good. And by elevate, I mean they're getting business when they're not really representing their clients the best.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, we've been facing commission on the listing side, commission compression, like a lot, right? We're fighting against the individual agents that are just giving it away because they're working both sides of a transaction, and they're essentially listing someone's house for free, which is crazy, in order to represent them on the buying side. So like we're, when you're solely a listing agent, that's a really hard thing to fight against. And then you've got the agents, like we try to offer as much value as possible with our resources, our knowledge, our connections, everything that we can do for you. But I lost a listing with someone that we had such great rapport. I mean, I was like a slam dunk. I thought like we were, just vibing, and everything we talked about agreed on. And ultimately they said, well, we actually decided to go with the other person because they offered free staging, free cleaning, free haul removal, and a very discounted commission. And it was like, wow. It was just, they threw everything at them. And that's difficult, if you're looking for that.
It is difficult, and it's hard to justify. I mean, I don't know how someone can. I mean, how can you do that?
I don't know. They just really wanted that listing. And
apparently,
I mean, I wanted the listing too. I
Yeah.
wanted the listing too, but I don't have the buying side to lean on, right? I can't be
Well,
like,
yeah, and
I'll make it on the
think,
buying side.
the problem with that is they have to be working at a loss. There's no way you can provide that level of service and get by on a buyer agent's commission alone. You
Right.
just can't. I don't know. It's an awesome business, and I love the challenges, and we'll continue to cream rises, baby. Cream rises.
That's right. You keep going, keep pushing, and there's a reason we're successful.
God, I wish I could just bring up that lyric from the Wu-Tang Clan, Cream. Cash rules everything around me. Dollar, dollar bill. Y'all, come on. Our producer isn't even helping me.
Where is he?
He knows Wu-Tang Cream. Please, you know what? I'm going to stop right now, and you're going to put
play it right now behind the scene. No, I'm kidding. I know he can't. He's like, no, I can't. We'll just point. We're going to put up a finger here, and then he's going to put the lyrics right.
Cash rules everything around me. All right, never mind. All right. All right. So, I know what I did this weekend. What did you do this weekend other than sell real estate? Did you watch football?
We did watch football, and I will say that, we are Raiders fan in this house, right? You feel me? We're very big Raiders, but we are supporting the Eagles. So we are definitely, I think the Chiefs have won enough. You know?
Super Bowl. What? It's Super Bowl LVII,
Too much. Is this?
which spells Liviu.
You know, it's like when the Patriots were like winning all the time and everyone was loving Tom Brady, and it was like, I want to see someone else, right? That's how I feel about the Chiefs now. So,
Look, I watched all the games, and the Chiefs look great. Cincinnati that was a great game. That Chiefs Cincinnati game was amazing. Chiefs and Bengals. But the Eagles just look better than anybody out there in the NFL right now. I think the Eagles are going to crush. I think here's my pick for the Super Bowl 57. It's going to be take the Eagles and lay the points.
Sounds good.
That was my sports voice. Did you like it?
I don't have any prediction like that other than go Eagles, fly. What is it? Fly.
Actually,
Eagles,
it's go Birds. Go Birds this
year.
Go
Birds. Yeah, what is the expression? Fly, eagle, fly. No.
Yeah, but isn't that a really bad song too? Look, I'm a Giants fan, so legally I have to hate the Eagles, and I do. I hate them, almost as much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh. And I don't care if I lose our 6 Spotify listeners by saying that. The Cowboys stink.
Isn't your family in Texas?
I do have family in Texas, and I've encouraged them to go to the Cowboy Stadium and spray paint "You suck" all over it. So if that happens, go look for my mom and dad. They're probably sitting there in a parking lot. They're
going to point right at you. They're going to be like, "He made me do it."
But I think the Eagles are, they're on fire. They're rolling right now. That's a great team. There is something really cool about this Super Bowl. Did you know that this is the first Super Bowl where there will be brothers playing against each other?
I did. Brothers
awesome.
And brothers. And something, okay, I will be honest, like I hadn't heard it till this morning because someone we work with who's a big Eagles fan told me this. So, you know who I'm talking about, Jamie. Yes. He was like, and the coach was the one who brought the other one on, and I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, but yes, brother against brother. It's kind of like the thing, right?
Travis and Jason Kelce. Can you imagine what their parents are thinking right now? I always like, why can't my kids be in the Super Bowl?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, right.
I know, and when they get to that high level, like, how did you get 2? In there? Well, I mean, it's not the first time brothers have both been. I mean, the Mannings and
yes, yeah.
You know, they've these families just turn them out. I mean, they're amazing. That's cool.
I think a little bit has to do with genetics, upbringing, parenting. Yes, and maybe I failed a little bit, and maybe the genetics part. Everything else I nailed, but the genes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes these parents are like hardcore. Like, you don't want to be that. Like I
saw that movie. I saw that movie about the Williams sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dad. I would have popped dad in the mouth maybe once or twice. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you have to pour everything into just that as your goal. Like, it's a lot. It's as much work. It's the kids are doing the work, but the parent they're pulling them along like the whole way in these families.
Well, in the case of the Mannings, I guess it makes a difference when your dad is an elite NFL quarterback.
Right.
You know, you're around it. You're probably at the stadium more than you're at home, kind of thing. So I get it. I don't know the Kelce background. I don't know if dad was a coach or something, but I bet mom or dad, one of them was a professional athlete. And they got those genes. That's got to be just like as a parent, you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I did something right."
You think?
Yeah, right.
You're like, cha-ching, cha-ching.
No, my boys, I bet you they're going to do something like they're going to create a game together, and that's going to be awesome. And I'm going to be playing it one night on my PlayStation 18, and I'm going to say, "My boys made that game," and that'll be awesome. That'll be fun.
Wow. Yeah, I hope they cash in on that, you know, and I hope it's like all positive and happy in the house and not like so
like mom's rooting for the Eagles and dad's rooting for for
Yeah,
the
and it's
Chiefs.
like one wins and then they don't talk to the other one,
Oh my God, that would be such a great story though, if mom and dad got into a fight and it made it on the news, because one was rooting for the other one. I know,
Yeah.
I like to root
You
for
like the
chaos.
drama. You like the
Yeah, I
drama.
want some drama. I would love to be a fly on the wall when they have that argument.
And
Like, think
I'm
about
like the opposite. I'm like, I hope it's all like lovey and happy and like and
it's
whoever
because you're
wins, we love you all.
that's because you have a good heart and my heart is
Pollyanna.
dark. Yes. Like I think about the Williams sisters, they played each other, I
Hmm.
think, in the US Open a bunch of times, a few times. And like who's the family rooting for in that regard?
Yeah, I don't know. And at the end of the day, there is a clear dominant player, right? Like when you look
Yes.
at their careers
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, well, overall,
Yeah,
right?
overall. But you remember Serena, not Serena, the first who's
Venus,
it's Serena and
Venus.
yes, Venus. Venus was a superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she's what, 4 or 5 years older, maybe less than that, 3 years older. But I remember when Venus was crushing it at like 15 years old. Um, and I think she even beat Serena a few times to start. But Serena she was built to just hit the ball harder than anyone else. I mean,
Yeah. She had the
I think
longevity.
yeah, they probably had the same talent level, but I think Serena just physically had her dominated. I don't know. That's my 2 cent sports analysis on
Yeah.
what's going on.
I just
But
I
yeah,
get up. I don't know anything, but I think it's amazing. As a parent of more than one, it's really cool to think about like that you created two high level competitive athletes or high level anything. Doesn't have to be an athlete, that
I
are like
know.
in their field.
I just want my kids to be incredibly successful at whatever they choose to do, and
Yeah.
I want to sit back and take all the credit for it.
I'm okay if they're not that successful. Just be happy.
No, see, you got to
Be
take credit.
productive. La la la.
I guess you could take credit for their happiness too, but
Right.
come on, it's more
Be
fun.
kind. Be
Yeah.
kind, people.
I really want to get a phone call from an interviewer that says, "Hey, your son Elijah just got nominated for best podcast producer for for 2024. What do you have to say?" And I will say, he owes it all to me.
Exactly. Can I take some credit too? As the first person he helped produce. But
A little bit.
funny. No,
All
that's
right. Well, I think we've been around it a little bit today. We talked about everything, didn't we?
yeah.
Are we missing anything?
No, but this time next week, I'll be able to share the story of my son's wedding. He's getting
Yes.
married this week. Woohoo! We got lots of family coming in. So I will save that story for next podcast.
Can you
To
take pictures? Can you
yeah,
have pictures?
I'll have lots of pictures. I don't know if Mr. Producer can share them or not on the screen, but we have maybe I'll just hold it up on my phone. I'll be like,
Just hold them up. We can see on the phone.
but yeah, no, I'm so excited and
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be
It is.
amazing.
It is. Have they figured out the honeymoon yet? Where are they going?
Yeah, they're going to Cancun for a week. So they leave right away the next day. This is funny. So he planned it so that he would be back the day before the Super Bowl. He doesn't want to miss the Super Bowl. So they get married Friday, and then I think they leave either Saturday or Sunday, and then they're back by the next Saturday. So they are back in time for this.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for them. It's going to be wonderful. Thoughts and prayers. You guys are going to have a blast.
Yes.
Tell them not to spend don't register, just ask for money. That's always best.
I think they already registered and whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean,
right?
if the wedding's this week, they would have had to have registered.
Yeah, I think they've been getting gifts left and right. She's like, I got the toaster I wanted. I'm like, you don't know, in 15, 20 years, you're going to be like, why did I register for a toaster? But no, I'm teasing.
So is it inappropriate if I was to renew my wife and I's vows and register?
Hey,
Like,
why not?
do you register
What are
for
you
a renewal
registering
of
though?
vows?
What are you registering for?
Well, remember I said that I needed a bunch of blow up dolls for the car so I can drive in Easy Pass lane. Right?
Ooh,
Um, yeah, no,
I
that's
wonder
probably
what
not a
that
good
looks,
registry.
what store that's from on
Yeah,
your
no, we don't want
registry.
that. I don't know. Where would I register from?
I don't think Pottery Barn carries those.
Yeah, no. Crate and Barrel?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I would register probably at Crate and Barrel, though. I love that store. And
Yeah.
Williams Sonoma.
Ooh, all the high end stuff.
Right. Anyway, I'm fancy. On that note, come back next week. We'll talk about weddings, Williams Sonoma, and other inappropriate stuff, as long as I don't go to Juicy Bucket. And we'll have more Real Agents of Fun.
Real Agents of Change.
And Real Agents
Agents
of Real Estate.
Real Estate.